"Hello, Bree," Callie said, smiling at her. Before Sabrina could respond, Danny had turned her to face him, gripping her by both upper arms. "Now listen to me, Bree. I can give you a chance at a new life. It's up to you." Sabrina thought he must be out of his mind, but she didn't mention this. She stared up at the intensity of the police officer's face, hoping she was dreaming. "Callie is going to show you where you can clean up and change your clothes. Go with her now. No one will harm you." Sabrina found herself at a doorway right off the kitchen. She was given no chance to escape, but was ushered inside. The door was shut behind Callie and her. "You can take a bath and wash your hair in here," Callie was saying, placing the kettle she grabbed from the stove onto the washboard. "Put this dress on when you're done. It won't be long enough," Callie added, having to look up to Sabrina. "But come back when you're ready, and I'll have some supper for you." Callie, still smiling kindly, reached out and gently touched Sabrina's arm. "I hope Danny didn't hurt you at all. That would be the last thing he'd wish to do. I also hope you'll come out and listen to what he has to say." Sabrina had not spoken a word. She stood stock still until the door shut, her mind unable to take in what had just happened to her. There was no window in the room, only a single lantern that burned brightly, but she knew it was dark out. She was usually working by now. Looking around the room, trying to figure out what she should do, Sabrina spotted the dress that had been left on a small table for her, a hairbrush beside it. She lifted it, and to her amazement found undergarments with it, clean and neatly folded. As she continued to touch the gingham fabric, all thoughts of escape deserted the young prostitute. The kind way Callie had touched her arm would not leave her mind. She couldn't remember the last time a woman had touched her in kindness. Sabrina stared at the door back to the kitchen, and then at the tub. Thinking she might have taken leave of her senses, she began to slip out of her dark red dress. Figuring she had little to lose, she was going to bathe, dress in the things she'd been given, go back out that door, and find out who these people were. "Do you think she'll do it?" Danny asked Callie. Both sat at the kitchen table, not 10 feet outside the room Sabrina was in, drinking coffee. "I don't know. She's certainly young," Callie said, thinking of the large blue eyes that had stared at her, framed by an abundance of wavy black hair. "I'm guessing she's 18 or so." Callie had to smile. "She was certainly quiet. She looked at you as though you were mad." Danny smiled back. "Well, we both know how true that is." Callie smiled with very real love for her husband, never sorry a day that she'd married him, but also never knowing what life with him would bring. They both heard water in the other room and exchanged another look. They had no idea if Sabrina Matthews would listen to a word they had to say, but that didn't change what they'd started. At the very least, they had one more person they could pray for, and they knew that God could work in ways they never saw or understood. "Do you want more?" Callie offered when Sabrina had finished one plate of chicken and dumplings. "No," Sabrina said. Callie had not skimped on the portion, and Sabrina thought she was going to burst. "How about some pie?" Danny offered. Sabrina looked at him. "How about telling me why I'm here?" "I can do that," Danny said with complete ease, reaching for the pie Callie had put on the table and cutting himself a slice. "It's like this, Bree," Danny began, taking his time and talking in plain terms. "I don't know why you're a prostitute. That's not the most important issue here. But I do know it's not a life that will be satisfying to you. No matter what the reason you got involved, it's wrong to sell your body. God has better for you." Sabrina's heart began to pound at the mention of God. Part of her wanted to run for her life, and part of her couldn't move. "I don't know what you know about God," Danny continued quietly, "but I can tell you that the Bible calls what you're doing sin. The Bible also says that Christ died for that sin, and if you'll trust in him to save you, he will." "Why are you telling me this?" Sabrina whispered. It was all she could manage. "I looked across the crowd and saw your face. It hurt my heart to see how young you were. But even if you were older..."